Away they go. Favourite I Am a Rock was slow to begin, 2 to 3 lengths, and he's lost for the time being, 8 lengths off the leader. Getting in the chance to settle down. Soldier's Code is right there, man the fort. Over towards the outside, Royal Bodyguard, Julie Dar and Sylvan Bay, they work around. At this point in time, Storm of Swords gives them 6 length start. Sheriff Hood, something's gone amiss there. Sheriff Hood has been pulled out of the contest. He was the runner that reared up. They loaded him back in, and we'll get the feedback. Sheriff Hood, something's definitely amiss there. I Am a Rock's towards the back of the field with Royal Champion. Soldier's Code in the orange and white silks picks up the gallop. He's in the driving seat by 1.25 lengths. Royal Bodyguard, man the forge just off them. Sylvan Bay towards the outside. Julie Dar's got about 4.5 lengths to make up. On the outside, Sylvan Bay. Storm of Swords gives the leaders 7 length start as they work back through the field. Royal Champion, the favourite I Am a Rock, is now moving right around. He's come 4-5 wide around them to try and make up the ground. Homeward bound, Soldier's Code has the lead. Towards the outside, Royal Bodyguard, man the fort, Julie Dar. I Am a Rock comes to the extreme outside. He's still got his 3 lengths to make up. Soldier's Code continues to drive away. I Am a Rock's looking to run on Sylvan Bay. Toward the inside, Julie Dar. I Am a Rock is now running on it. Soldier's Code over the last 100, and Julie Dar gets going hot up against the inside. I Am a Rock coming through late. It's gonna be very tight. I Am a Rock got up. I Am a Rock on the line from Julie Dar. Soldier's Code's towards the inside. Well, heavy weather for the favourite, and he almost cost himself at the gate. He was slow out about 2.5 lengths. He came wide around to challenge. He's still got a length to make up with 50 to go. Julie Dar sneaks through Soldier's Code, but I Am a Rock. Look at those last 3 strides. He just lunges through, and he gets up to win by a long neck. There you can see fully extended, fully stretched, and pays up at R2 the win. He opened up 18 to 10. He was back down to odds on at one stage, and I Am a Rock will get the job done. Took his time to unwind, but he eventually gets there. Julie Dar's second, Soldier's Code, and then came Sylvan Bay. Royal Champion was further back in the running, and obviously we'll get some feedback on Sheriff Hood. He was a fancied runner at R5.70, reared up about 4 times in the gate, and they loaded him back in, and something obviously amiss there with Sheriff Hood. We'll wait for the feedback. I Am a Rock on his lonesome on the outside. He still had his 2-3 to make up. He's running around. You'll see Muzieni's now going to change the stick. He continues to drift about. At that stage, Julie Dar snuck through, but I Am a Rock, he torpedoes them very, very late on. Back to the studio.
Well, a good result here for trainer Duncan Howells and jockey Muzi Yeni, and this horse called I Am a Rock. When chatting to Duncan for first call, he mentioned that will be the horse to beat, and spot on with your comments, Duncan. But again, you know, he's a horse that takes a long time to unwind.
Look, I don't think he's ideally track suited. You mustn't forget it's only his 3rd run, this horse, and he's jumped very quickly in distance. He's very immature. And I think with that horse playing up in the gates next to him, it didn't help his cause. He missed the break. You could see he walked out the gates. He had to do everything the hard way. And he's not a horse that's tuned up in any means. So to pull a horse out 5 wide on the turn and come around them was the right thing to do at that point in time. But this horse is not mature enough to actually cope with something like that. So I thought he won a good race.
Looking at the distance as well, Duncan, you know, the fact that he takes so long to find his stride and his engine only kicks in over the final 300 meters or so, you would have had a look at his pedigree. Further, the better?
Look, on what I'm seeing from the horse, yes. If you look at his pedigree, no. But look, we'll go with the flow with him. I think he's progressive, this horse. I think he's very, very immature. He's a very late foalder. He was born, I think, late November.
Yes.
It's taken a long time to come to hand, and He'll get better as he gets older. You can see he's a proper stayer.
Anything else has changed since I spoke to you for the first call show? You mentioned you got chances with the other horses, but this was a standout.
I thought this was my best for the day. I think Winter Aurelius in quite a tough race coming out the maidens, he could place. And then the filly in the maiden race, Glimmer of Silver, there's also Mark Dixon's that I think will be quite difficult to beat.
Thanks for that, Duncan, and all the best with this horse moving forward.
Just well done to Basil and Betty. They live in Australia now, and it's very nice for them to have what looks like a decent horse. Thanks to our sponsors winning form.
Well done, Duncan. Let's get Muzi and Yeni into the office, and on behalf of the punters, Muzi, I'm going to shake your hand. I'm told to do this because, you know, it was about tactics, and you played your hand around the turn.
Yes, you know, he's still immature, and it's not a type of horse that I would have loved to be up there in the open and just doing it all. And I just had to take my chances and just try to get him to relax. Once he settled in within himself, then I could ride a race on him. And like you saw, I had to obviously make up the ground and creep up at the 800 out because I could just feel the further you go, the better it will get. Still very immature. He probably be better horse gelded, but still was a win full of merit because he did show a lot of guts towards the end, and still a win.
That's what I was going to touch on next.
Yeah.
For the fact that he had so much work to do, and you gave him a hard ride around the turn. You woke him up early in the race. Lots of positives from this win.
Yes, I could feel, you know, I got a lot of, you know what I mean, he's still a very clumsy horse, and I just thought, you know, let me just get him into stride, and I got him into stride, and obviously at the end he was doing his best work.
Well, 2015 has been superb, especially the first half of this season. You're really riding well, and you got few complaints, I'm sure, for 2015.
Yes, I've been fortunate enough. I'm in United with a very strong yard in Durban, and the results are obviously showing, and just well done to Mr. House Racing, Kathy, Warren, obviously the gents at Stables, James and Bradley. Just a big team effort. We've got a good team behind us, and we're reaping the rewards.
Anything else later on from your side?
I thought this was my best. Obviously the one in the next with 52, he must be a massive runner. Mr. Miller's also, and he seems quite consistent, quite honest, and I think he'll give a fair shot about himself.
Again, great ride.
Thank you again, and to my sponsors, the winning form, a big thanks, and to the owners, Mr. Lennington in Australia, well done.
Well done to Muzi Yeni and Duncan Howells here with number 8, I Am a Rock. 8, 5, 6 and 12. That's the way they finished here, race number 4. And coming up next will be the first leg of this afternoon's jackpot. That time to jot down will be 14:55. And I just hope Teletrack is taking this in, because I managed to get a word with Charles Laird. I phoned him and asked him about his first timer called 13 Main Dimension that comes up in race number 8. And he says that the filly will definitely need the racing experience. So take note of that. Race 8, the first timer, number 13 Main Dimension, will need the racing experience. But that quartet numbers, those quartet numbers again, 8, 5, 6 and 12, race number 4.